Welcome to the SNN.Network Canada virtual event. I'd like to introduce our next presenter, Peter Gann, CEO of Royal Winds. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, thanks everyone for taking the time to listen. I'm grateful for the opportunity and would like to share the Royal Winds story with you today. In essence, Royal Winds is the world's first real money, pure skill gaming company. I'll break that down into parts in that pure skill means that people who play our games are able to win purely based on their skill. There is no predetermined outcome. It is not a game of chance. It is dependent on your skill. Our games are hyper casual, meaning they are easy to learn, hard to master. We don't expect somebody to stay on the game for hours on end. 15, 18 minutes is what our target audience is. And we look for repeat visits to our platform. Our product comes in 3 major platforms: Cash Carnival, which is the pure skill gaming platform for real money; the Cash Royale, which is our tournaments platform, which will be published shortly; and Arcade Corner, the non-cash prize platform. What is uniquely special about our company, though, and you would have heard several companies out there purporting to be skill games, etc. We are a skill game company, and the skill games that allow you to play within a cohort of similarly skilled people. Now, if you consider a high jump analogy, if you are jumping and the person that jumps before you is 6'4" and you're 4'6", there's not much chance of you clearing that height. So what our algorithms do is work out your skill level and place you within a cohort of similarly skilled people. So if you're 4'6", we'll place you in a cohort of people that are 4 foot to 5 foot, and you can pretty much play the game on a level playing field with your ability to win or lose against competitors of similarly skilled at a similarly skilled level. It is, after all, a skill game competition. So where we do differentiate is that people who are higher skilled and able to master the game more comprehensively are able to secure higher jackpots than those who are not. Well, prize pool or jackpots, it is in fact a competition. So where we sit within the gaming space is that, again, we are hyper casual, we're on the mobile platform, and we are real money. Real money meaning that we are licensed to take and pay out real money. We're one of the very few companies globally that focus on skill, focus on hyper casual games, and can take and pay out real money. And why did we actually choose that sort of sector? It's because we went to the fundamentals of what the social demographic is. And if you're looking at the slide right now, the takeaway from this slide is that we worked out that currently the portion of population that are playing hyper casual games are the millennials, the ones with the discretionary income. You will find that they have grown up with the hand-eye coordination and the dexterity through playing PS4 or Nintendo. So it's very much a case of applying skill to win a game, as opposed to relying on luck and chance, which you don't have a say in it at the end of the day. If you pull the arm on the slot machine, as soon as you put the coin in, whether you win or lose, it's already determined. You have no say in it. Whereas for a skill game, and for our games in particular, your skills is the only determining factor in whether you win. And if you are in a competition, you are placed in a cohort of similarly skilled people. So when we launched a few months ago, we had great reviews, and we're quite proud of that ourselves. Getting into the nuts and bolts of what we are beyond a gaming platform is that, look, we are very much on a growth trajectory. Many of you may not be aware, but we are not your standard startup. We have been around since 2015. We grew very quickly and very aggressively, so much so that Apple and Google required us to go and have a gaming license, which is what we spent a year and a half doing. And we are now licensed. We are back on Apple. We're back on Google. And, proud to say we're doing very well. There is no two ways to say it except for the fact that our marketing efforts are the primary channel on which we acquire, grow the company. The budget for the company is unabashedly heavily weighted towards marketing, and it is unabashedly heavily weighted towards data. Creating brand and awareness, organic channels on the social media platforms is pretty much what we do, being a mobile-only gaming company. Moving along, again, part of our current metrics, we're quite pleasantly surprised that our cost per install is tracking ahead of what we expected at this time. Our lifetime value of a customer at 6 months is tentatively around $40. One of the things which I did mean to mention in the earlier slide, I suppose, is that let me have a look. Okay, monthly revenues for the company will see a grow aggressively through 22-23, and they start petering out or leveling off, not so much petering out, but leveling off in 2024. This is primarily due to the fact that as we get into large numbers, 6 million monthly active players, there is a need to return to player somewhat more significant than what we do now. It's because to retain the players and to keep them coming back for our platform, there is a need to increase the return to player. The single biggest factor of the company beyond marketing and customer acquisition is the payment channels. If some of you are familiar with the online gaming, real money gaming space, then you will be more than familiar with the fact that payment processing and payment channels are the single biggest thing. We are quite proud to say that we can take payments through Apple, Google, and payouts through Skrill, the Skrill platform. We recently made an acquisition in the US. It's the formerly known Antics Games, which we renamed RYWCF US. And it's a company that focuses on board games, such as Winning with Words, a Scrabble type game. Now, the acquisition provides us with an excellent foothold into the US market, and it also serves to provide a diversification of our games, which is part and parcel of our strategy. Our strategy, of course, comprises of 4 major limbs. The platform and the diversification of the games, we will continue on Cash Carnival, expand on Arcade Corner, and Cash Royale gets launched first quarter next year or early next year. The diversification of the games into board games, strategy games, card games, it's handy for me to point out that our license, which allows us to take and pay real money for our skill games, also allows us to publish and operate games of chance. So it is in our contemplation that at some stage we would very well look at casino games or social casino games, etc. Another limb of our strategy is the geographical diversification. We have accelerated our entry into the major English-speaking markets, the US, Canada, Australia. The US is singly, by far and large, the most important market to us. Beyond diversification of our games into, say, board games and strategy games, it's very much a diversification into blockchain games and NFTs, esports, and most of all, using our platform as a service. You see, it's our platform is the entity or the unit that's actually licensed, and what we have done is provide a SDK and GDK for third-party developers who would like to monetize their games to be able to put them on our platform as well. This way, we expand the portfolio of our games exponentially. From a cutting-edge and leading perspective, we also have a relationship with the University of Nevada, the Department of Gaming Innovation, where we get some very bright people coming up with very bright games, which provides us a pipeline to come through. So, in short, geographical diversification, product diversification, exploiting or leveraging of our current asset base, those are the key limbs of our strategy moving forward. Capital structure for those who are interested. The warrants are very much exercised now. I'll leave it to my bankers and financial advisors to expand on that. But in the interest of keeping it short and sweet, a minute over what I expected. But yes, that is the Royal Win story. And I've got a couple of questions at the moment. Hello, Peter. When will you start your NFT project and your eSport project? This was asked by Jacques. Jacques, we have already commenced our NFT project. We have compiled a team. You may or may not have noticed in the announcements that Australia's largest blockchain developer invested in Royal Wins and partnered with us to develop the blockchain game in our direction on how we utilize our digital assets into collectibles and NFTs. So the project is already underway. Bobby has asked the question, what is your vision for the company in the next 12 months? That's a straight to the point question, Bobby, and very much the case of gaining critical mass in our user base. We, as mentioned before, we have been around since 2015. We do have a substantial customer base. The customer base needs retouching and reinvigorating, which is what we can do now that we've been recapitalized. We are looking to not only gain critical mass by way of subscribers and players, but also increase the amount that is wagered, for want of a better word, each time, with diversification of the product into different games beyond the hand-eye coordination mechanic type games into board games and card games, and the use of our platform as a service. Because what is unique about our company, as I mentioned earlier, was the ability to assess a player's skill level and place them within a cohort so that you are playing against similarly skilled people. Now, these algorithms, what we would like to think as our contribution to AI, says that imagine if somebody is playing virtual golf on one side of the continent and somebody else is playing virtual golf on another side of the continent. They would be able to compete against each other on our platform for a prize pool. Now, because we are able to match them appropriately with similarly skilled levels, this is where the handicap system comes in as well. So we're very keen to start looking at that opportunity. And moving beyond that, once we have got critical mass in the major English-speaking countries, the Asian countries, some of the countries, Southeast Asia as a block was a significant portion of our customer base before, and we intend to make it that again. They are a very young crowd. The average age of the player there fits very well within the millennial cohort. Happy to take any other questions. Happy to revisit the slides if required. So please feel free. I'll leave it. Okay, if there are no more questions, again, very grateful for your attendance and your attention. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and hope to meet some of you in the not too distant future if you're shareholders of the company. So thank you very much.